All right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Steve Malzberg Show, Friday edition. And what would the Friday edition be without Gimme 5, like we do in the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday edition? So today, what a week, what a week, what a wonderful week for America. And we could all breathe a sigh of relief because we know that the future will be in the hands of Donald Trump and not Hillary Clinton. At least I'm breathing a sigh of relief. I know a lot of you are as well. But the media, see, the media who got it so wrong, who are so out of touch. I mean, Donald Trump got more black support than Mitt Romney. He got more Hispanic support than Mitt Romney. And he got 42% of women. And he won white women. He won white women. So how wrong did the media get it? And they continue. Now their narrative is, oh, all these hateful, vicious, vile, racist, xenophobic things that Donald Trump promised, well, he can't do them because everyone out there is scared to death. So he has to shove them all away and reach out to everybody. Well, sorry, nothing is racist or xenophobic about his policies. He ran on those policies. The people voted for him, more Hispanics than for Romney, more blacks than for Romney, majority of white women, 42% of what did I say, women overall, white men, he clobbered with them, evangelicals 81%. So he's going to deliver. Sorry, media, but they're desperate now. So they're turning the narrative. They're combining like the Ferguson case and the police cases, and they're trying to make that out of this election. And they're getting help from people who riot in Portland and other places. So it's going to be a long haul to deal with the media. Here's an example. Allison Camerata, formerly of Fox News. Watch.
Jason, why does President Obama have to be gracious? Why can't, I mean, I'm curious about the optics of this. Are he and First Lady Michelle going to the front door and going to glue smiles on their face and graciously open their arms and their home to Donald Trump, the man who questioned President Obama's birth, his citizenship, his family, his credentials, his legitimacy? Or can they just send an intern to the front door to let him in?
Can't they just send an intern to the front door to let the Trump trash in? Asks journalist Allison Camerata, completely ignoring what Obama and Michelle Obama said about Trump. Only one way to Allison Camerata, because that's the media. That's who they are. That's what they are. Why does Barack Obama have to do what every other president has done? Why does he have to greet them? Well, he didn't take a picture with them, so he stuck it to them anyway, Allison. I'm sure you're happy about that. Then there's George Stephanopoulos. ABC News interrupts programming yesterday to talk about Trump's meeting with Obama. Watch.
Good afternoon. We're coming on the air right now because President Obama has just met with President-elect Donald Trump in the Oval Office. We saw Donald Trump fly down from New York earlier today. We have as promising to try to bring the country together. We heard that, of course, in his acceptance speech on Wednesday morning. President Obama, when he spoke yesterday, says we all have to be rooting for Donald Trump's success. But of course, in the wake of that, protests overnight in several American cities, thousands of protesters out in the streets, hundreds were arrested, protesting Donald Trump, including right here at the Trump Tower in Manhattan. The president and President-elect Trump met for about an hour in the Oval Office.
All right, let me ask you a question, folks. Do you think if Hillary Clinton had won the election and she was meeting with Barack Obama, and they interrupted programming to tell their folks about it at ABC, and the night before there had been protests in the street protesting Hillary's win, which there wouldn't have been, and they hung Hillary in effigy, you think ABC News would, in the context of a special report talking about a meeting that just ended between the two, they would gratuitously show Hillary hanging in effigy because some jerk in New York did it the night before? No. But there you go. That's the media. And then there's Jake Tapper on CNN. Jake Tapper on CNN. With the man who is the head of the RNC. Some say he might be chief of staff, although Roger Stone told us earlier that Reince Priebus will not be chief of staff. We'll see. Watch this.
So let me ask you a question. This is a time, obviously, for unifying the nation. There are millions of Americans out there. Latinos, African Americans, immigrants, Muslims, Jews, women, people with disabilities, millions of Americans who are scared, frankly, about what a Trump presidency might mean to them because of the rhetoric of some of his supporters, some, not all, some, and because of some of the things he said.
I'd like Jake Tapper, who is as phony, in my opinion, as a $2 bill. He's either phony, or he's a radical leftist, or he's disingenuous, or he's ignorant. Hey, Jake, show me a Jew who's afraid of what might happen to him now that Donald Trump is president. There are millions of them out there, you said. Millions of people, including Jews. Show me the Jews who are afraid of what might happen to them. You're implying something bad would happen to them, like you said about Latinos and Muslims. Now, the Latinos, if they're here illegally and or if they're criminals, they might get deported, rightfully so. Muslims might have a trouble coming into the country if they're from a country that supports terrorism and they're not vetted. But forget what might, any fears Muslims here might have. I'm not even talking. I want to know from Jake Tapper what Jews and women are fearful about in this country now that Donald Trump won. What are they fearful about? Especially Jews, Jake. And then there's this.
So that one speech at 2:30 in the morning is all that's necessary. I know you're not going to take my word for it, but I can tell you, according to polls, and first of all, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point, but Hillary Clinton did win the popular vote. So there are more people who wanted her to be president than wanted him to be president. That said,
yeah, but let me tell you something about that,
there
Jake.
are, yeah.
Yeah, all right, I'll listen to you. No, you don't know that more people wanted Hillary to be president. More people voted at this point for Hillary than for Trump. Might be true, but you don't know what people who stayed home wanted. And why did they stay home? Maybe in New Jersey, maybe in California, in every one of these solidly blue states. Because if you're coming out to vote for president, you know the Electoral College is going towards Hillary. If the campaign had been run to win the popular vote, Donald Trump would have been in those states, talking to those people, saying every vote counts. So let's not get carried away. That is a red herring. The campaign was not run for the popular vote. Now, these riots and protests in the streets, some of them getting severely out of control. As we mentioned, the cops called the one in Portland a riot. Here with more on all of that is our very own Bill Tucker with this report.
America's left is having a temper tantrum. From the benign, if infantile, unfriend me if you voted for Trump request on Facebook, to the reported violent beatings of Trump supporters, America's left wing is putting its intolerance on full display. The disdain for the uneducated, deplorable, stupid people who voted differently from them has been nothing short of shocking. Teachers refusing to stand for the national anthem, protest in the street, some turning violent. College canceling classes and exams as students wept openly. Some colleges going as far as to provide counseling for those distraught over Secretary Clinton's election loss. Students burned the American flag. In Oakland, the air was filled with cries of F Trump, F white America, and even kill Trump. In Los Angeles, the LA Times building was sprayed and effigies of Trump were set on fire. Traffic was stopped in Chicago, Portland, San Francisco, and other cities around the country as protesters carried signs of "Not my president." The theme was simple. Lots of hate and anger by people accusing Trump of being the candidate of hate. And not even Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg could contain her dissent with the election as she appeared on the bench Wednesday wearing her famous dissent jabot. The message from the left is clear. You have a freedom of choice as long as you choose like we tell you to choose. And if you don't, there'll be hell to pay. Bill Tucker, Newsmax, New York.